Hi, and welcome back to Gaia's Wisdom podcast, where I'll start with a heads up today. I have the sniffles and a pretty bad cold, so I was thinking about not recording this one and keeping it just in written form, but it's a big one. I think I'm bound to get a little fired up talking about it, so let's just get right into it. I've been sitting with all of this since before Women's Day already. And usually I planned something special for Women's Day. I mean, it's our day after all, right? And this year, all I could think about is like, wow, look at this. Like, look at this charade. We actually gave our power and we got a calendar date. Yes. Now, don't get me wrong, there are still stories of women changing the world that the internet gets flooded with around this time of year that do give me goosebumps, that do give me hope for a better world. But for the most part, all that I see right now is just how much we've lost our compass. Like, seriously, can we stop trying to change this world that's obviously gone to shit and build one we're not terrified of bringing children into? Because there is a way to do that. And it's not going to happen overnight, but that's exactly the reason for us to get started today. So that's what we're doing today. But first, let's use the aftermath of this International Women's Day to give us some context. So, International Women's Day actually started off as a protest in 1917, and it sparked revolutions and feminine movements. So, the official narrative now says it led to women's liberation in those few privileged corners of the world. But in truth, it was the final nail in our coffin. And us women, we put it there ourselves by accepting to fight for something we were never made for. We gave up the one thing that was never up for debate, and that's our nature given power. The kind of power that doesn't give a shit about being granted the permission to vote for the lesser evil because it's fully immersed in creating a world that makes current systems of oppression obsolete. The power that stands up and speaks up and bends the rules of linear reality. And feminism took the last bit of that feminine power we had left. Not because it meant to harm us, though I do have a good quote unquote conspiracy theory on that one for the inner circle, but because feminism was built on the wrong premise. It convinced us that in order to be powerful, we had to emancipate. Like, even this word, really? Emancipate? And compete with men on their own turf, when really we have been playing in different leagues since the beginning of time. Because there was a time when women didn't fight for power, they were power. They were worshipped as fractals of the mother goddess, as healers, as nurturers, as the givers of life. And the masculine wasn't afraid of the feminine. Men and women both understood their divine roles in co-creating a world built on harmony and care and cooperation. Women understood their power, and men loved them for it. But some of them loved power more, and knowing it wasn't theirs to hold, they took it away by force. Temples were burned, women were banished from public life, and the wounded aspect of the masculine built the system we live under today. And for that system to survive, women had to forget. So, for centuries, we were systematically severed from the earth, from our knowing, from other women, and most importantly, from our own bodies, because that's where all our feminine power originates. Now, if we refuse to give up and forget, we were exiled, tortured, and murdered. Now, the cellular memories of burning pyres still live in our bodies, echoed in the survival instruction that whispers to us stay small, stay hidden, stay safe, which has really been our dominant, unconscious modus operandi ever since those pyres went cold. But now, the memories of the time before our power was taken from us are awakening too. And the timing couldn't be better because that's how we stop fighting and wasting our energy trying to change something that's rotten to the core and start creating a whole new paradigm. Because creation is actually what women are made for. So, in the next few episodes, we're going to go through some practices and protocols that will reactivate your feminine power right where it originates in your own body. And that's not bypassing, it's not self centeredness, and it's not turning a blind eye to all the atrocities out there. But your body is political. It's been used against you to make you forget. Because if you remembered the immensity of your creative potential, you'd be building ecosystems of care and nurture that render the current systems of oppression obsolete. Because if you remembered that you're physiologically built to magnetize, attract, and receive, you could never be tamed and terrorized into selling your soul. And because if you remembered the ancient art of sexual alchemy, you'd use it to create a world that is fair, just, and kind, and that doesn't pay for their private jets and luxury estates. Your body is built to always know the truth, and that's a scientific fact. The shivers down your spine, the goosebumps, the tingling in your pelvis, those are all glimpses of remembrance. All that's left for us to do is to solidify them in your current reality, the reality you are now consciously creating. Now, there are different paths to remembrance. Some take longer, some are quite quick. The most direct one is through the sensual experiences of your body, held in the embrace of Mother Gaia, singing to the fire in a circle of women walking the same path as you. That's because that's what you were made for, and it unlocks places within you that you will never access with any type of work that is mind-based, no matter how dedicated you are to your growth and expansion. A space for that, for us, is opening this spring. And I will give you more information on that very soon. And I can't wait for that. But in the meantime, you can give more substance to those glimpses that you are sensing with the Feminine Mystery Book Bundle. It contains everything you need to get you started on your journey back to your feminine power. So I'll include the link for that under this episode. And one last thing I want to add is that we actually have cosmic support available right now in doing this work and starting this journey, because Venus, the planet of the feminine, just entered Aries a few days ago. Now, astrologers will tell you that she's in her detriment here. But as a natal Venus in Aries, I disagree. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. So this is the dwelling place of the courage to begin a whole new cycle. And that's exactly what we need right now. A brave, feisty Venus who swoops in with her red lips and stilettos and isn't afraid to be seen, to be heard, and to stand up for what matters. Now, I'm personally ditching the shoes and the lipstick, but I am taking the vibe. And I have to say, I am so happy to have you along for the ride. With that said, I'll be back soon with another episode on how we start unlocking things within our own bodies, within our own wombs, because that's where your true power lives. That's where the magic gets unleashed from. So we'll talk about that next time. Until then, I am sending you so much love. Bye bye for now.